Hello, I am Arion. This is Book Zealots and a new channel, Marlicia's Meanderings. Had my note upside down and backwards. Marlicia Meanderings at Marlicia Muses. I'll put her information down below. She's a new channel. She has a video challenging booktubers to show their hobby books. I'm only going to do one hobby because I have other hobbies. It would be way too long. So I'm just going to do quilting books and my quilting hobby. I have always sort of been interested in quilts. I don't know at what age, but I will say of memory, I was about 10. I'm trying to think of the time period because my uncle's new wife mentioned it and I said, yes, I want to learn. She took me to a fabric store. We bought some fabrics and it wasn't the kind of quilting I was interested in. But I didn't tell her that. So my mother ended up doing it. Because of the time period, the puffy quilting was in or something where you take the squares and you shove in a bunch of polyester puff garbage, and no, that was not the kind of quilting I wanted to do. God bless her. I love her. I'm glad she tried, but there was a miscommunication. I just recently finished an audiobook for the month of March. And it is called How to Stitch an American Dream. I wanted the book. I couldn't get my hands on the book. My library actually had an audio. If you've been around this channel any amount of times, you know I don't solely do audiobooks on a regular basis. That's just not who I am. But this one I did listen to. Did I quilt while I was listening to it? No, I was crocheting. But anyway, this book was phenomenal. And then along comes Marlicia's challenge. And I said, yes, I am down for that. So, in relation to the author of How to Stitch an American Dream, she and her family, it's Doan, she's the author. She and her family started a quilt company in, I think it's Hannibal, Missouri, and they have these little books, and I do mean little books, but there are six that came in this little kit, box set edition. There are multiple boxes to buy. I have one, and it is Winter Volume 2. So this one is Winter Volume 2, Issue 1. I'm going to put these back in the box as I'm talking so that they're in order. The rest of them have tabs in them for quilts that I want to get to. And this one is Holiday Volume 2, Issue 6. And one of the quilts that I want to make is, let me find the actual first page, because each book has a little story. I don't know if that's coming out very well, sorry. Has a little story that goes with it, what the title of it is, who the quilt was designed by. And the Missouri Star Quilt Company generally has video tutorials on YouTube. Yes. And I think that's how I found out about them. So it gives the instructions of the yardage and information that you will need and where to cut, etc. So if you're not used to reading, quilt patterns, you could probably look up the quilt name and see if they have a tutorial on their channel. Anyway, I love this block. I don't think I have made it yet. And every time you make a quilt, if you use different fabric and different colors, it changes the pattern. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. And yes, there's lots of math involved in quilt making. This one is Fall, Volume 2, Issue 5. I have 2 marked in this one. Let me just do a couple of more. This one looks like an envelope. Let me find the first page. No, that's not a good picture. No, I guess that's about as good as it's gonna get. And I think it's funny because so much has changed in the quilting world from when I first started. And I didn't officially start until 2000, I think, 2001, about there. A lot of the old block quilt patterns would have, 7/8 of an inch and 5/8 of an inch. We don't do that anymore. Things have become much more simplified. This is Summer, Volume 2, Issue 3, and I have a couple of blocks marked. I don't think you all are interested in every single one that I've marked, so I'm not showing them, just save time. And Spring, Volume 2, Issue 2, and one more. This one is Summer, Volume 2, Issue 4. Excuse me. And one of my favorite fabric companies just naturally wasn't as if I targeted them and went, they are now going to be my favorite. No, that's not what happened. I would go to the local shop, Peacemakers in Costa Mesa, California. They were my go-to fabric company when I lived in Huntington Beach. And I would go do the yardage, and they were fantastic at helping me get started. I would have a pattern and go to them and say, I need to select fabric for this. This is how much I need of each one based on the size quilt that I want. And I would pick a focal print, like the main print, and then they would help me find the extra to it. And so for brand new quilters, it's best to start out with a 3-colored or a 2-colored fabric quilt top, and then go from there. Work your way up, and obviously pick a pattern that is easy, so like a basic 4-patch, and I'll show this information on the screen. Anyways, so I like challenging myself, no different than reading. I like challenging myself in everything that I do. And I just recently found out that this kit in my lap from my favorite fabric company is actually, the fabric is designed by the owner of the company. How did I not know this? How did I not know this? Okay, so my favorite fabric company has always been Moda. Always. Ever since Robyn Pandolph, and I'll again show information. The owner, Howard Marcus Dunn, I do believe that's his name, will put out his own line of fabric. The money that comes in from his fabric line that is bought goes to charities. And I think every year it changes. I'm not 100% positive. I think it does. I think this year the money is going to Feed America. I'll try and look it up while I edit this and put the information if I'm incorrect. So anyways, the very first kit that I ever bought, and the very first fabric for this charity for a cause or collection for a cause is a community 1840 to 1850, and it looks like this. And it's similar to the Jane Austen quilt. And I'll put Jane Austen's quilt here and show this at the same time. And no, I haven't made it yet, because when I bought it, I've never worked with diamonds. Like, I think I might have since then, but this is all diamonds, all diamonds. And I bought it and I opened it up and I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is over my head. I don't know. I'm not prepared for this. I am now. I'm ready to open this up. I mean, just haven't even started yet. These are called jelly rolls, and that was coined by Moda, I believe. And these are strips that these are 2.5-inch strips, and they're called jelly rolls. These are not strips. I mean, they're strips of fabric, but I don't know what size they are. Anyway, I love Moda. Love Moda fabric. Not all of their designers are my favorite, obviously. They have a lot of modern designers now that I don't lean towards. Anyway, so books, and I will ask Prometheus to record, or I will record on my phone, my books in my quilt room. There's a lot, and because we thought we were moving, I got rid of a lot. I donated a lot of them to a local quilt guild. So what I actually will show is my streamed down book collection for quilting. But my newest book that I bought from a local quilt shop is Playful Pre-Cut Quilts, 15 Projects with Blocks to Mix and Match by Amanda Niederhauser. I just recently found out about this lady. She is a designer, and I actually think she works with Riley and Blake. Riley and Blake is another fabric company. I don't think I own any fabric by this woman, but I love the block, and my style is more traditional. I'm going to flip through this so that I can quickly show some pictures of her designs. I do lean more traditional with quilt blocks and quilt fabrics, but and of course I have to be careful not to show, obviously, copyright issues, so I can't show the pattern, like what the designs are and things like that. Directions, the specifics. I can't show the specifics because of copyright issues. So let me see. I'm trying to show. You might have to pause the video and zoom in to get better looks at it. I mean, it does show you what you'll need for materials, but it doesn't show the directions, so I won't be attacking any. What's the matter?
Zoom in, zoom out.
Oh, no. Them, I was telling you. Thank you. I won't be revealing any details that would, stealing copyrights. I wouldn't want to do that. There's a lot of hard work that goes into this, and I respect their efforts and designs and creativity, artistry. Anyway, so I'm just going to use, let me go back over here. I'm going to use this one as an example. So she has plaids in the center of all of these blocks, in the center of all of these blocks. You can change that up to a floral, to a solid, and then change the corners, and then change the corners. And these are called, this is called sashing, this is called cornerstones. And even these can be changed out. Using different colors, different patterns changes the entire look of the quilt top. And 1930s fabrics can be used, and I'll put up 1930s fabric. There's so many things that you can do to the same quilt pattern that would change the entire look of the quilt. This book, I think every single one of these quilt patterns is a quilt that I would make, which is part of the reason why I bought the book. I was quite impressed. And oh, here is a oldie but a goodie. And this is basically called the maple leaf pattern. You could probably find this free online, but I like the way that she has the secondary block. And so sometimes you will have a quilt top with one main focal block, and it's repeated like a log cabin. I will put the log cabin, which is often confused by the courthouse steps. I will put that here. I've been to Fort Harrodsburg Museum in Kentucky, and they had a quilt top displayed as a log cabin, and it was not a log cabin, and it frustrated me. I waited in line to let them know that they had made an error. I don't remember if I actually got to speak to somebody or if the line was too long and I gave up and left, and I said, oh, whatever. So there are a lot of cute, and here is a mix and match, which is one of the things that I absolutely love. I made a sampler quilt, and that's when you take every single block is different, is generally called the sampler block. And I've done one. I made it for my older son, and it was the most time-consuming quilt top that I've ever made. So if you ever receive a quilt or you have a quilt, just know that there was a lot of time and effort, blood, sweat, and maybe tears that went into it. And the people that make quilt tops or quilts do not get the monetary value of the time that they put into it. Just know that. So anyway, so this is my most recent buy, and then I will now include my clip of my book room, my quilt room. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Please leave a comment down below and let me know if you have any hobbies and what they are. I know a lot of guys on BookTube collect cars. That's a very passive hobby though. I'm talking like a physical, you have to do something hobby. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment down below. Just say, hey, if you don't have a hobby. Bye.